Good morning, everyone. This is Jeffe Kennedy, author of fantasy romance and romantic fantasy. I'm here with my first cup of coffee. Greatly needed. If you are on video, you will see it is very early here. It's just now 6 o'clock a.m. and I can see the sky beginning to lighten out my east window. The sun is coming. It's not here yet. So yeah, I woke up early, and I woke up. I woke up at 4. I went to bed kind of early. I went out last night with my friend Megan. Oh, I should have said. Wait. Sorry. Say it with me. Today is Friday. Woo! Almost forgot. February 18th. So yeah. I went out and saw my friend Megan Mulry last night. We had a lot of fun. We had drinks and dinner, and it was lovely. And and I came home and went to bed, and woke up at 4, and I thought I would go back to sleep. And David got up. He woke up. He wakes up a couple hours, every couple hours at night, and takes more medication because without it he can't sleep. And so he got up, and I was laying there, and I thought I was going to go back to sleep. And he came back in and said, I just want you to know that if you want to get up and work, you won't bother me. And I said, well, I think I'm going to go back to sleep. And he said, okay. And so I laid there, and I was like wide awake. And so I was like, oh, I guess I'm awake. So I got up. I thought, well, I can get a jump start because I've got this midday today deadline, which it's nice that he's aware of that too. I said, well, I guess I'm not going back to sleep. And he said, well, I'm not surprised. He said, if I were you, I would be wanting to get to work on that stuff too. And I said, yeah, I guess you know me better than I know myself. So, if you are on video, you can see, look, it's an orchid. This is my first orchid rebloom. I posted a photo of it, of like the flower stalk, not long ago. But look, I have an actual orchid rebloom from my Trader Joe's orchid. I've never got one of these to bloom before. And so isn't that cool? So I'm just going to put it here. I'm just going to like hold it next to my face because I'm so excited. Okay, I won't. Can I just sort of move it into the frame here? Well, we don't want to interfere with the coffee drinking. So, let's see. Where am I on the book? Gray Magic. Not quite done. I'm at just shy of 103,000 words. I think I am on the second to last scene. Actually, I think it may be the third to last scene. So it's not the penultimate scene, but is there a name for a third to last? Probably not. Probably third to last means not done yet. So yeah, I worked. I did my 3 hours of writing yesterday, and I slowed down. I did really well at first. I had a good first hour, a great second hour, and not so great third hour because I just ran out of juice. So I only got a little shy of 2,500 words yesterday, but still, that's good. As Dorinda says, we'll take it. And then I thought, well, I only had, like 500 words to go to hit my 3,000. So I thought, well, I'll go rest. And so David was out driving, and I got my reading chair, and I'm just about done with Daughter of the Forest by Juliette Marillier. The transcript really hates her name. I think it's very interesting which names the transcript can absolutely handle. It's like if you're famous on Google, then transcript picks it up right away. Like Jennifer Lopez, Owen Wilson, no problems at all. My name? No. Juliette Marillier? No. Dorinda, It hates Dorinda. These are things I'm having to fix. Now I'm going to have to go in and fix all of them for saying all those names. So, where was I before I went on that tangent? Writing. Oh, I was reading Daughter of the Forest. And so I read for a couple of hours and I thought I might nap, but I didn't. I think I'm keyed up, right? Finishing this book. I'll probably crash once I finish. But yeah, so then I thought, so I read for like an hour or so, and then I came back to it and looked at the manuscript. And I thought, well, maybe I'll try and put in another hour, at least try to get these 500 words. And I looked at where I stopped, and I was like, got that big nope out from the creative self. So it's like, okay, no. So up and at it early today. Figured I might as well go ahead and get the podcast out there. So my mother will be happy, if nobody else. And I don't know if I have much else to say. Megan and I had fun talking about that friendship article that I talked about earlier this week on the podcast, the one in the Atlantic. And I think I mentioned on here that one thing I treasure about that particular friendship was I sent her the link and I said, here's your homework assignment for us to discuss. And she said on it. And not only did she read it, she had like notes. She'd read it on her phone, so she had all these highlighted sections. And so we went through and discussed, and it was very interesting because she and I are about the same age. And so, it was just, the article, the essay written by the woman who was about our age. And yeah, so we had a wonderful time discussing those things. We got went to Harry's Roadhouse, and we sat at the bar and got there at 5, and nobody was in there. We're like, oh, this is a good time to get here. And then it just got busier and busier and busier. And she told me that New Mexico finally lifted our mask mandate. So people seem to be very excited, celebrating, and so forth. Yeah, I know that we're conflicted on that, right? It's once I was vaccinated and we didn't have to wear masks for a while. The mask mandate was lifted, and then we had to start wearing them again because of all the people who are not vaccinated, and also the vulnerable. So it's just I don't know, messy situation. I hear so many conflicting ideas about it, but I have no problem continuing to wear my mask. I guess where requested, where required, and if somebody wants me to have it on around them, I'm happy to do that. So, wow, 2 years, huh? Big bird just flew by my window. Dawn is coming, but surprised the birdie's not flying yet already, because if you're on video, you could see it's still quite dark. So, let's see. So yeah, yesterday afternoon, I just kind of went into a little mental stupor, and it was nice. It was very nice. I read for a long time, and Jackson came and got on my lap. This morning, David got to see how I've taught Jackson to get his weight, that he'll get on the scale and sit when I tell him to sit. David was all impressed. So now I'm really tempted to try the fluent pet thing. I don't know if Mary Robinette Cowell has been doing fluent pet with her cat, and I don't know if I want to or not. I'm tempted and I'm not. I kind of don't want the thing laying on my floor. I sound like my mother. So yeah, this is a random collection of disconnected thoughts, because this is where my brain is at. I'm brain empty. Yeah, just gotta finish this book, right? Dorinda and I were having a conversation. She said that she was feeling like she had kind of a moment of epiphany. Now I understand scrambled eggs. I should probably explain that. If you've taken any of my classes or particular classes, I use this cartoon that I think I found in the New Yorker, but it shows people eating at sort of like an outdoor cafe, and it says breakfast at Epiphanies, and there's somebody going, now I understand scrambled eggs. And so I love that for explaining what an epiphany is. One of my little jokes to myself. Oh, I'll come back to Dorinda. I would say remind me, but you can't. I'll do my best. Um, it was really fun doing my Reddit fantasy AMA the other day because a lot of the people there had read my books, and a couple people asked me questions or mentioned things about my influences. And it's the first time that I've had a reader, just like somebody who doesn't know me well, just from reading my books, pick up on one of my little inside jokes to myself. She said, oh, I knew this because you named this character this, and I figured that was an homage to this other writer. And I was like, it totally was, but I didn't expect anybody to ever figure that out. It's like I put these little things in to amuse myself, and then it's kind of delightful when somebody spots it, these little Easter eggs. So anyway, Dorinda's been stressing trying to finish writing her book, and she said that it occurred to her the other day that I'm going to have to fix her name all through this text now. That it occurred to her the other day that why was she being so upset? Why was she feeling so ground under by this? She's like, I have the best job in the world. I'm doing the thing that I love to do. And I said, it's true. And I have to remind myself of that too. And I said, well, some of it's human nature because this is our job. And when it's your job and it's your work and you have deadlines, it's not like just playing. It's not all, romping through the meadow and plucking words. It's it's nose to the grindstone. I mean, that's what work is about. And I said, but at the same time, I have to remind myself, and she was thinking to remind herself too, that this is what we wanted. We chose this, and it's still way better than another job. I was like, you could be out there doing ASL translation, which, American Sign Language, she is fluent and certified and all this kind of thing. But I guess that could be really difficult work. And she taught for a while, and she was like, yeah, or I could be teaching kids who don't want to learn, so it's that thing of reminding yourself of your blessings. I think we just tend to focus on when things are difficult. But it's still a pretty awesome job. And all of this, for instance, on this book, I'm the one who set this deadline. I definitely want this payout. So that's why I wanted it by like February 28th, so that I'll get that Amazon money. That means I'll get it at the end of April. And if I missed that 28th, if I did even a couple days later, then I wouldn't get it till the end of May. So, it's like wanting to pay that mortgage and everything. But at the same time, the actual pressure, how am I ending this book? Do I need 2 or 3 more scenes to end it well, to please all of you, to please the reader, to please myself? It's that's all internal pressure. I could just, it's kind of funny because as I'm coming up on the end of this book, I've seen several places where I could stop. If this were not book 3 in the trilogy, I would see places that I could stop. Because I get accused of writing cliffhangers. And when we see that, Kareem will say, people keep using that word and I don't think it means what they think it means. So I was like, yeah, it's having an open-ended story is not the same thing as a cliffhanger. But there are more things to tie up with the book 3 in the trilogy. And I'm definitely going to write another book in this world. I know what it's going to be about. As you guys read Gray Magic, you will know what the next book will be about too. You're going to see that. But what I'm trying to figure out at this point in time, I'm trying to figure out a couple of things. So this trilogy, and I think I asked this before, and some of you gave me feedback, but I'm going to ask it again. This trilogy has been Nick and Gabriel for all 3 books. And there's going to be other romantic pairings in the next books. And I don't know if it'll be just like one couple per book or what, or one couple over several books. I'm deciding. That's one question. The other thing I'm thinking, because that's the romance convention, is, once, like, these 3 books have been Nick and Gabriel's POVs back and forth. Next book would go into another couple's POV, right? And I'm kind of entertaining branching out and doing multiple POVs, because there are more epic adventures going to happen, and I'm considering adding multiple POVs into the ensuing books, so that it would, like, maybe the focus would be on the romance between some other people, but I'm wondering, can I go back to Nick and Gabriel's POVs? Because I'm not sure I'm entirely ready to leave them. What do you guys think about that? I tend to not want to deviate from the structures that I set up. I feel like that's part of the promise. Like in the first book, I'm saying, here's the structure. It's going to be dual POV. So then if I go into the next ones, for instance, so here's another question, right? The next book, should it be book 4 of Bonds of Magic or book 1 of a new trilogy? I think there's arguments for both. I don't know what to do. I'm not going to make decisions while my brain's this empty, but these are things I'm trying to figure out. I'll be interested to know what your preferences are. I'm kind of feeling this thing where I want to branch out into multiple POVs. There's another book that I started a couple years ago. We didn't really get anywhere with it on submission. This is a science fantasy. I'll tell you guys that. And I told Sarah, Agent Sarah, at our talk at the beginning of the year, that I'm going to finish it. And she said, well, maybe we could take it on submission again, because it's been 2 years and there's been a lot of turnover in the editors and stuff. And she said, if you're going to write it anyway. So I'm thinking about that one doing multiple POVs, because that one would really lend itself. I want to do that. I think maybe this is like where my, I don't usually talk about muses. I don't really believe in the muse, but I'm feeling like this is where my storytelling yen is going. Could be interesting. All right, I am going to actually get to work. If you're on video, you can see that the sky out my window is beginning to lighten. You can see the silhouette of Sandia Peak out in the background, that deeper blue against the lightning sky. So rise and shine. Here we go. I hope you all have a wonderful Friday, whether it's your actual end of work week or not, and that you have a great weekend. And next week, I don't know if I'll be doing podcast or not. We'll see. So, but next time you see me, this book should be done. If it's not, we're all in big trouble. All right. You all take care. Bye-bye.